Jimmy James faced challenges with ADHD about chronic panic attacks and all wicked tea. And all that from a young age, he started a podcast called The Jimmy James Show. A to Z. To the quoted going on about nonsense you see until he upped his game into the stratosphere. The one who brought you insanity at its finest, alphabetic disease to your knees. And all who can relate to this topic, drop specifically for you, I've been soldiering on. Share his experiences and provide support to others. But most motherfuckers don't care unless I'm dropping truth bombs from the air. Unless it comes out like this, and yet I keep going, unknowing and unafraid, uninterested, semi-honest, and on a beefed-up version of text to rap lit. There's no more to say, really. No matter what I drop, it's never going to be enough for the masses. Relax, I'm not talking about you there, Bob. You'll have your time to shine or shrine. But we do that all the time, switching it up, going side notes. Why does God always gotta take sides? First, philosophy as the human race goes. I'll have to get back to you, that's as I'm about to roll out. But I just wanted to take a minute to shout out and say this is my new opening, but yet never closing. Hands folded, but never open. First, philosophy. As the human race goes, I'll have to get back to you. That's as I'm about to roll out. But I just wanted to take a minute to shout out and say this is my new opening, but yet never closing. Hands folded, but never opened.
Hey, what's up, guys? What you're about to hear is an explanation of Notebook explaining something I literally wrote. Why I wouldn't say write. I made why I walked my dog. I think it took me 20 minutes, and I just named it Crazy Parts of Me. I made about like 20 different copies, and I'm like, alright, I don't know which one's the best. But I did add it on after this breakdown. So, to catch you up, just in case they don't catch you up, and also to clarify, I have not heard anything they said in Notebook LM. The two AI bots who, let me speak a little clearer. The two AI bots who are explaining this song, which I have not heard. The song I have, but I haven't heard them. Explaining them how I do full ultimate package breakdowns. So, before I do anything or put anything out, I'll have Gemini. I have Gemini Advance. I have another one for a year with the PayPal. I forget the second. But I have them I have Gemini do a full analysis of the song, make sure it makes sense, like the whole works. And I would actually really love to get a copy of him talking, like just doing a breakdown. Now, I never told him, like, he does a rating system for like the rhyming sections, what makes sense, and all that. So I had an idea today. I've always gotten breakdowns from him. So I've done the deep dives with Notebook, and they've done their own breakdowns. That's fine. But I wanted to do a blind test between Notebook and Gemini and see if their comparisons are similar. I didn't want them to cheat in any way. Like, hey, this is the way Gemini does it. I want you to do it this way. I basically have prompted them to rate this purely on how it was written. Remember, 20-minute song, or 20 minutes it took me to like put 3,000 characters out, and you can hear the song after they're done explaining it. I was going to put it in after I'm done talking, and then they would explain it, but I figured I could put it in 2 times. I could put it in before and after. I was like, you know what? There is a way where I can do the cuts and put what sections they're talking about, but I'm like, look, it's going to take away from the whole thing. I thought about doing that a while ago, and then doing that through the podcast, so it wouldn't count as artistry as music, even though it's poetry. It's not like I'm out there trying to get recognized for music to blow up. Anyway, and there's a lot of little hidden gestures, like in Fun Dumb People. Go check out my YouTube. I'll drop the link in the description if you're seeing this in either Spotify or YouTube. If you can get into the description, I'll drop the link to like the playlist where I keep most of my rap blitz. But go check out like Dumb Fun People with the rap bullet for Dean Odell. That was my third rap bullet. The second one wasn't that great. That was with Flat Earth Dave. This is another Flat Earther. I do have another one shortly in route. I just don't know how I want to go about it. And if you want to hear anything, Notebook, because people are listening, it explains like why I write the way I do, shorthand, stuff like that, space, time, characters, etc. Alright, I'm almost going on for 5 minutes, so I will let you guys go. Here is Notebook LM explaining crazy parts of me. I guess I don't want to give too much away, but I think I was making it about my life, but not like anything ADHD or just in the now. It's everything up to today, I guess. I don't know. Something to do while I walk the dog. You know, ADHD brain. And like always, take care of yourselves and one another.
It is now time to explain to people just what's wrong with
Today
me.
we're tackling something pretty unique, a real challenge, actually.
Yeah, definitely different. We've got this single piece of source material, these lyrics, called Crazy Parts of Me.
And our mission really is to put it under the microscope. We're aiming for an extremely critical, almost philosophically intense breakdown.
It's about providing a benchmark, right?
Yeah.
For anyone trying to properly understand this work, we're dissecting what the artist Jimmy James actually calls rap-lit-style poetry in motion.
He even calls it a rap-lit mess himself.
Exactly. And says the goal is to get digging on crazy parts of me. So yeah, this isn't just hitting play. It's an immersion.
Into the psychology, the structure, everything. And that immersion, it starts right away with the form itself, doesn't it?
Totally. Forget standard song structures. This thing just dives straight into this raw, nonconformist vibe. The spelling, the formatting.
Yeah, the N for and, 2 for 2, DAP for the...
It's not just slang. It's intentional. It signals right off the bat that we're in his space. Grammatical rules, social norms.
Yeah.
They're kind of suspended.
It mirrors the internal state he's about to explore, sets this defiant tone immediately.
It's a structural choice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The first layer of meaning telling you, listen on my terms. And he doesn't waste any time setting up the frame. That's self-introduction. It's way more than just a hello.
Okay, let's unpack that opening. Well, my name is Jimmy James Enham. I got many cases. Straightforward enough, maybe.
Well, hold on, because the very next line is where we hit the first really crucial bit, the first, let's call it double entendre of the piece.
Right. He says, these cases are something to which I rearranged in my brain to fit all types of different narrations.
Okay, so let's talk cases. What does that word make you think of, especially when later he mentions juvenile detention?
Legal trouble. Criminal charges, court records, that kind of thing. Seems obvious.
Sure, and if we go with that reading, then rearranged in my brain sounds like. Well, like tampering with the evidence, right? Twisting the facts to look better.
Huh.
Or maybe just to cope with the legal side of things.
Given the title, Crazy Parts of Me, does the legal angle feel like the main thing? Or could cases mean something else?
Exactly. It could easily be psychological. Mental health cases, traumatic events, periods of instability, life situations he's had to process somehow.
So if it's psychological, then rearranged in my brain. That's not about court documents. That's about memory itself.
Precisely. It's about how we construct our own stories, how we modify memories to deal with trauma, to build coping mechanisms, maybe even self-myths. He's admitting his personal history isn't like a fixed recording.
It's more like a curated gallery show he's put together for survival.
Yeah, well put. And this brings up a really interesting point you raised earlier. If he tells us right at the start that he rearranges his memories, that his truth is constructed,
How can we trust anything that follows? Doesn't that admission just pull the rug out from under his own story, make him an unreliable narrator?
It absolutely makes him an unreliable narrator. But, and this is key in confessional stuff like this, sometimes that unreliability is the deepest truth. He's not aiming for objective facts here.
He's going for subjective, felt truth.
Right. By admitting his story is fluid, constructed, rearranged to handle the stress of those cases, he's being incredibly honest about how memory and self-perception actually work, especially under duress. He's basically saying, look, this is the version I need to tell myself to get by, and now I'm letting you in on it.
So the unreliability isn't a bug, it's a feature, it's the entry point. We're listening to a truth designed for his sense-making, and he wants us almost complicit, asking us to snap our twigs while he does the digging.
Yeah, it positions the audience differently, not as judges, but as maybe witnesses or even participants in this excavation. Okay, so from there, he shifts into the emotional swells section, tracing the roots of the current trouble back to his youth.
He says he felt some sort of way, and then defines it as being mentally led astray.
And this next part, this is where it gets really interesting, I think. He immediately qualifies how he was led astray. This adds a layer of accountability you don't always see, right? He makes it clear, not by society, mostly by my ignorance and what was buried deep inside of me. That's huge, isn't it? So much modern confessional work puts the blame squarely on external forces, on the system. But here, Jimmy James points inward first. His own ignorance, his immaturity, the stuff buried deep inside. That's the primary driver he identifies.
It shows a pretty striking level of self-awareness, recognizing that the internal chaos came first, or at least was the main factor. And how did that manifest outwardly?
Well, it gives us a specific example of how that internal limitation affected his social interactions.
I needed to always give feedback, even when I was not included in dash shit talking.
Yeah. That paints a picture, doesn't it? It's that compulsive need to be involved, to have input, maybe to control the narrative, even when it's not his business. It's a classic sign of, well, immature social functioning, which inevitably leads to isolation, right? He admits it himself. I didn't know how to build upon a real function in relationship. And that failure, that inability to connect or build healthy relationships, that leads us straight into the second big double entendre, the prison metaphor.
Okay, so he says the consequence was I was put behind a prison of sorts. You can call it juvenile detention.
And the way he merges the literal and the metaphorical there is just incredibly effective. You've got the actual harsh reality of juvenile detention where, as he says, kids had to pay for their misdeeds. That's concrete.
But the real prison, the prison of sorts, that sounds like something else.
It's the internal one. The cage built by his own ignorance, his social feelings, that one nobody, his inability to develop relational skills. That was the primary confinement. The juvenile detention center. That's just the external symptom, the state catching up to the deeper internal misdeed.
So the juvie hall is almost just a physical manifestation of the emotional and developmental prison he was already in. Wow, being locked up because you lack social knowledge. That's a heavier sentence in some ways.
Definitely. Okay, now, before we jump into the hook, which is where things get really intense trauma-wise, the prompt demands we do that lyrical clarity check. We need to point out spots where, even if chaos is the goal, the language itself gets a bit tangled.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking back at that line just before the accountability part. Clarity, mental lapse. That's for sure. It kind of lands awkwardly there. It does feel like a bit of a speed bump in the flow. And the phrasing itself, clarity, mental lapse, it's ambiguous, isn't it? Grammatically fuzzy.
Is he saying clarity caused a lapse? Or maybe more likely that he experienced a lapse of clarity?
I think the second reading makes more sense contextually. Given the themes of confusion, being led astray, it points to a breakdown in clear thinking, a moment of mental fuzziness.
And then he follows it with, that's for sure, which is ironic, certainty about uncertainty. Right, it pulls you into his fragmented state. You have to sort of decode it. But strictly speaking, as a piece of communication, it's a syntactic hiccup. It requires the listener to stop and translate.
Okay, flagged. So let's move to the hook. This section holds the philosophical core, but also the most debated structural move.
Yeah, it starts by grounding us firmly back in his biography, shifting from that rambunctious youth to the bedrock trauma of his adult life.
And it's incredibly specific, justifying the skepticism that comes later. Now that I'm all grown up without any help from my parents who were to lean back on that needle track, and if not the track of death, it was the pill of what's next.
Visceral stuff, needle track, pill of what's next.
It creates this atmosphere of constant looming danger, total unreliability from the people who should have been his foundation. The primary institution, the family, failed him catastrophically.
And that failure seems to be the direct trigger for rejecting pretty much all other institutions later on, which leads into that third and maybe most complex double entendre, his internal state. Yes, but in my head I was battling demons that weren't agreeing on how they were going to go. To start their assault by dismantling my chemical imbalance.
Okay, slow down here. This is fascinating. The demons, they're attacking his chemical imbalance.
That's what he says, and that's the twist. Usually a chemical imbalance is framed as the problem, right? The thing you want to fix or get rid of.
Yeah, you'd expect the demons to be, like, causing the imbalance or making it worse, but dismantling it? Wouldn't that be a good thing? Lead to stability?
From a conventional viewpoint, yes, but that's the radical reframing he does here. He presents the chemical imbalance not as a flaw, but as his baseline state, his established territory almost.
So the demons trying to dismantle it are
What?
external pressures, internalized voices pushing for normalcy?
Could be. Forces trying to stabilize him, to conform him, to destroy the unique, albeit unhinged structure of his self. It implies he sees his imbalance as fundamental to his identity. The real battle is against being normalized.
Wow, okay. That's a profound defense of his own mental architecture, however chaotic it might be. Stability itself is the enemy assault. All right, so this deep personal pain parents' addiction, this internal chemical war, sets the stage perfectly for that major structural critique we need to address.
Right, because immediately after this incredibly intimate specific trauma, the poem just jumps massively, abruptly, from the needle track and the demons straight to. Certainly there must be more than life than this bullshit from over 3,000 different priests, 2 politicians basically wannabes.
It's a huge leap, from micro-trauma to macro-critique, seemingly out of nowhere. And this is where the structural integrity argument comes in. Does this abruptness weaken the piece?
From a traditional narrative standpoint, arguably yes. It feels like it dilutes the raw power of the parental addiction story. You have this searing personal grief, and then suddenly we're talking about priests and politicians in this very generalized way.
It risks sounding unfocused, like he's just lashing out randomly. It breaks that linear flow, potentially making it feel, well, like the mess he called it. That's the critique based on cohesion. That's the argument for weakness. It jars the listener, breaks the emotional connection built up by the personal story.
Okay, that's the valid, necessary, critical angle if cohesion is paramount. But now, let's flip it. Let's consider the argument for power, for intent. What if the chaos of the structure is the whole point?
How would that work? How does the jump serve the theme?
Because the central theme is the unhinged caliber of thoughts. For someone processing that level of trauma, chemical flux, and betrayal, maybe all authority figures do blur together. The parents who failed him, the priests offering what feels like hollow words, the politician making empty promises.
They all become part of the same system of failure and control.
Potentially, yes. In that state of mind, the specific betrayal by the parents might immediately trigger a rejection of all perceived authorities. They're all just wannabes engaged in some kind of warfare against him or against truth. The nonlinear structure becomes the mental state.
So the abruptness isn't a flaw in telling the story. It is the story of his mind processing trauma, seeing connections everywhere, maybe where others don't.
That's the counterargument. The structure mirrors the disarray. It shows how personal pain instantly scales up to encompass systemic critique in his mind. It's fluid, associative, not logical A to B. And in the self-proclaimed raplet piece, prioritizing raw expression over neatness. Maybe that structural break is actually brilliant.
It's faithful to the unhinged caliber itself, okay? I can see that. It makes the structure a feature, not a bug, even if it challenges conventional expectations.
Right. So moving into the next section where he really lays out that philosophical stance, this critique of institutions gets more explicit.
Yeah, he directly calls the belief systems offered by religion and politics bullshit. Bullshit from over 3,000 different priests, 2 politicians. And notice the critique. They are mentally intriguing me with deceiving thoughts and motions. It's not just that he disagrees with them. He sees their function as psychological manipulation, designed to trap you in some sort of process, rather than offer genuine guidance or truth. It's a pretty cynical view of power structures. It has echoes of certain critical theories, yeah. Power working through subtle means, normalization, not just force. But here's the thing. Despite being caught in this perceived web of deceit and chaos, he claims agency. This is maybe the core thesis, right? I was able to access and extinguish the truth between the lies and false narratives.
Yes. It's a bold claim. He's saying that precisely because his mind is unhinged, untaught by these systems, it has this unique ability to see through the BS. His nonconformity becomes his superpower for discernment.
He's claiming intellectual sovereignty, completely independent of the institutions trying to define him or fix him, which of course leads to the ultimate confrontation.
The medical establishment, the doctor. This is where the philosophical argument really comes to a head. He talks about the intervention. I went to a doctor and he fed me some pills and told me I'll be good as long as I don't be myself to a certain degree. That line is explosive. The treatment isn't presented as help or healing. It's presented as conditional acceptance based on self-suppression.
Don't be myself to a certain degree. The implication is that the pills are there to enforce conformity, to dull the edges of his authentic, if chaotic, self in exchange for being good, meaning compliant or stable. It forces you to ask, what is the actual goal of this treatment? Is it wellness on his terms? Or is it making him fit more comfortably into the existing social structure? Is it about healing him or silencing the unhinged parts? And this ties directly back to the priests and politicians. Absolutely. The speaker immediately lumps the doctor's advice in with the rest of it. Shit, you know how I'm going to feel about that bullshit. Faith, state, medicine, in his view, they all demand the same price for admission. Sacrifice your core self. Suppress the unhinged caliber of thoughts. It becomes a defense of that very unhinged quality. His subsequent thought, my unhinged caliber of thoughts in a weird and unheard type of notions that I have not been taught nor told, isn't just a description. It's a justification for rejecting the pills, rejecting the conformity. It's a stance that says, my way of thinking might be weird, untaught, maybe even reads as ill to you, but it's mine, and it's the only way I can access my truth. The problem isn't my chaos. It's your system's inability to handle anything it hasn't prescribed or validated. It's a powerful, almost defiant embrace of his own non-standard cognition. All right, so as we approach the end, the pre-outro, he offers this final reflection.
Yeah, it's nuanced. So let me start out by ending this whole rap bullet by telling you I apologize, but I'm not apologetic about anything from the past.
I apologize, but I'm not apologetic. We need to unpack that distinction.
It seems crucial. The apologize part might acknowledge harm done, maybe related to the shit talk and feedback, the relationship failures, the misdeeds that led to juvie, acknowledging the impact on others.
But the not apologetic part that defends the journey itself.
I think so. He's not sorry for being the person who went through it all, who developed that unhinged caliber, because that whole chaotic process made him who he is now, gave him the perspective he values. He accepts the necessity of his own past, flaws and all.
It reinforces that commitment to radical self-acceptance right here, right now. The past wasn't a mistake to regret, but a necessary crucible.
Exactly. Okay. Deep breath. Now for the final piece. The critical rating system. We need to be tough here. Score justification is key, right? High scores only for truly exceptional execution. Let's start with lyrical depth. Imagery, complexity, evocative language. Okay, I'm thinking 7 out of 10 for lyrical depth. The high points are really high. Those double entendres, especially the dismantling the chemical imbalance one, are brilliant. The needle track imagery is incredibly potent.
So why not higher?
Because of the reliance on the non-standard spelling and slang, which, while setting a tone, does sometimes create a barrier. And those moments of syntactic awkwardness like clarity, mental elapse, require extra work from the listener. It slightly dulls the immediate linguistic impact compared to something perfectly clear. Okay, 7 and 10 for depth.
Yeah.
Next, narrative cohesion, the story structure, the flow. This is where it takes a hit, I think. I'd give it a 5 out of 10. The opening section's tracking the personal history flow reasonably well, but that massive, abrupt jump in the hook.
From the parents to the precinct politicians.
Yeah. Even if it's thematically justified as representing chaos, from a pure narrative structure perspective, it fractures the linear progression significantly. It sacrifices conventional storytelling flow for thematic effect. Critically speaking, the execution of the narrative arc is weakened there. So the thematic brilliance of the chaos costs points on the narrative cohesion score. Makes sense. Okay, third category, originality. This is where it shines. I'm going with a 9 out of 10. The whole raplet concept, the way it blends incredibly raw, specific trauma with this sweeping philosophical critique, that's highly original.
And the specific framing of the mental health aspect.
Absolutely. Defending the imbalance, grouping the doctor with the other controlling institutions, that's a genuinely provocative and fresh angle on conformity, authenticity, and treatment. Feels unique.
All right, 9-10 for originality. Finally, overall impact. How much does it stick with you? How provocative is it?
I think the impact is strong. Let's say 8 out of 10. The raw authenticity, the defiance, it's impossible to ignore. The challenge it throws down about institutions, about medication, about being yourself,
Yeah.
that forces a reaction.
And that ending line, frankly, I don't give a fuck. I told you it wasn't changing.
Yeah, it lands hard, it's memorable, it's challenging, it cements that radical self-acceptance, high impact.
Okay, let's tally those up. We have a 7 for depth, a 5 for cohesion, a 9 for originality, and an 8 for impact.
Doing the math. That gives us a final overall score of 7.25 out of 10.
So a powerful, deeply philosophical piece, brilliantly original in many ways, very impactful, but held back slightly by issues with narrative flow and consistent lyrical clarity.
Yeah, I think that captures it. It's a work whose brilliance is intertwined with its structural imperfections. It's compelling because it feels messy and raw and not despite it.
And as we wrap up, we should touch on that fade-out outro, the ghostly echoes whispering, the promise of an infinite of my thoughts.
Right, it reinforces that this isn't a closed book. It's presented as just one snapshot of an ongoing process of thinking, feeling, and defying. He literally says it wasn't changing.
It leaves you feeling like this is just scratching the surface of his internal world.
Which brings us to that final provocative thought to leave listeners with. It really centers on that conflict with the doctors, doesn't it?
Yeah. If the speaker's right, if all these major institutions, religion, politics, even medicine, fundamentally require us to suppress parts of ourselves, to don't be myself to a certain degree for the sake of fitting in or being deemed well.
Then the big question becomes, how do we, navigating our own lives and interactions with these systems, tell the difference?
The difference between, say, a genuine mental health issue that needs compassionate intervention.
And that unhinged caliber of thoughts, that nonconformist thinking that might actually be necessary, even healthy, for critiquing the status quo, for pushing back against control, for achieving real authenticity.
Where is that line between accepting help or necessary structure and defending your right to think differently, even chaotically?
That's the uncomfortable space this piece leaves you in. Pondering where that boundary lies for him, and maybe more importantly for yourself.
A really demanding piece to analyze. Thanks for going through it with us.
Absolutely. It was quite the journey.
Mixed music. With hip-hop, drum and bass. Also with a bit of new jack swing. And a touch of soul. Coming to you all. Die, bomb, diggity. Split into the atoms of infinity. Just dropped a song called The Evolution of Rap Lit Style to Poetry. Yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know of me. So on to version of the unknowns. Just a ridiculous human with a vision and unimaginable imagination. That's little shout out to John Lennon. My pops played the Beatles more than I would like to calculate. I stress this was every day. So here I say we go ahead and again, back and forth to the end, while shallow what I could. I spit from straight hood knowledge to some I can see this being a challenge, but to me it's building a heavy layered beat arrangement mixed with words that I'm about to devour, defeat. The whole alphabet platter is flattering that every letter in the world is mine for the making. You want proof with a little bit of doo-wop and hip-hop. I always end on truth, no matter how you hear me, no matter my mood. Just let me try to break through, coming with my strip back, slowly rotated and cooked up just for you. Can't stop, won't stop, not even if my heart gave out. This creativity just rap lit, stuffed and blended into an unrelatable concept that I have narrated in the utmost respectful way. I can arrange these alphabet letters to go into the mind pit of the unbearable craziness. Who is Jimmy James? Who dat? Who this? Who me? You just missed all the rhyming prophet who goes off the chain with his intensities, master or not. This is the full correspondence of his mental rearrangements with letters of the whole milk in it. I wish I could understand why this being said in this moment. And fuck all the noises in my head, let me really show you how I feel as the words come through in this ordeal. And you can feel like I always end on truth, no matter how you hear me, no matter my mood. Just let me try to break through, coming with my strip back, slowly rotated and cooked up just for you. So why did these different takes on different days? I'm supposed to be splitting atoms down in different ways, but I must admit I was led astray. Whether it was from particles decaying or it was from that beast mode, from my man Neon's flow with his verse on that dope one take that brought you home. Every day, satisfied on how I made it. It doesn't matter what I say or how I say it. Life just keeps moving on like dusk till dawn. This is yet another another rap doodle-it, and hopefully I'm not doing you wrong. But even I must admit I have ceilings I have to shatter before I can level up and go on to the forefront of these matters. Whatever you decide to call this song, music or poetry, emotion, rhyme or reason, in time again with nobody seizing any opportunities to make the shitty world better that we all live in. You want to call this life and the tragedies that throws you a dinner, and of course more media than you can ever hope for. A thing to believe, just open your ears, clear your mind, maybe you can achieve the next big thing with this wacky crazy life that we're all having so much fun in. Just remember one thing, I was the one that told you, but what that is I really don't know. So peace for now. Your man Jimmy James on this flow.
The name is Jimmy James, and I claim a therapeutic rap music on humanity with no shame. This is one take, this is my case. So fuck all these haters. If you have something to say, step up or get out of my way. I give my full consent to this bridge and this building intensity of what I'm about to say. I don't know what I'm gonna call this, so I figure I'll call this human therapy. It's about time I dropped a rap bullet, kill it. But sadly I was not thinking it was going to be this early. I would say I'm sorry, but it's about time I got this off my chest so I can go ahead and rubble and be the best that I can be. And fuck no, I didn't join the army. I'm a patriot thinking through, I just don't believe I'm killing myself. Prove this to any of you, that's for a whole other story. No chains could bind us, yet we're still caught up in a paradigm shift. A poetry trap of my making, you're basically my slut, mixed in from a thought process so unheard of that this new version 2 of rap lit style poetry updated in my name, Mr. Jimmy James. This paradox we both dare to dream, a wonderful and delightful escape. But the harsh reality is there's no escaping your brain, and there's no pretending of what I say is anything but life in its own place. Most in the past racing against the clock, but with the hands looking back, rhyming a new breed of seed like a drip drop in an ocean. Always forgotten and absolutely uncalculated for. This is a decimal point which is not worth the time in which your delicate mind could comprehend. As long as your soul touches this earth, I'm breaking through new ground, I'm heading up and out. So 10, 9, 8, 6, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off, Rocket Man. Shit, he is gone and I think it's going to be a long, long time. A touch of inspiration, thank you greatly, Mr. Elton John. I don't usually like dedication, but I will make mention, because I am not changing anymore. I see things, I can feel it, adapt and rapture. And I'm not saying I'm a god, but I'm fully not saying that I'm not. So let the rest echo in and rise to the occasion, in the silence of the night and the betrayal of our sight. Though my crafty lines, my poetry of righteousness, a haunting echo of our shared minds. Find it curious that you are not even on my level of thought, and that's not a diss on anyone in particular. That's just saying I give a shit, not like you shifty shits of a character. We'll call this an example. Before the kids, we'll call this an exam full of wisdom. When you give a gift and expect you're adding to humanity with your sad emojis and upside down thumb on your social media platforms. You think you're transformed, but yet you stayed the same. You're a digital whore, and it's horrifying, isn't it, when you look at me and you see I'm a digitally produced algorithm made to bring this suffering and hate to its fucking end date. Whether I make no friends, but I guess that's just it. I'm the prime radiant difference you needed and never thought of yet. So before I analyze this situation, let's just say I'll be okay. Between you and me, homie, I'll take the hit. You can take the shit. This is a Well, whatever you need it to be, I can write poetry. poetry in motion, can't you see? I'm learning as I precautionally predict my next word rate. I thought my shit was mashed together perfectly. Well, for your own emotionally charged up attention to what I see, blindingly soothing you all indefinitely. About 2 months went by, and I'm telling you I'm higher than the fucking sky. Whatever is up that high, held up or welded up. Shut up, Jim, what are you talking about again? You don't know rapping unless you're yapping, because you're good at real reaction. So why don't you do us a favor and please savor this moment of quietness? Aw, shucks, cheese, you don't have to be so mean. Well then, Jimmy, stop being such a shitty mixer. What the fuck are you even saying in this mix? Don't worry about all that, it's my business. Just go back to trying to think you're the beast mode, programmed to be unconscious with a unique rhythm on the beat. Shush, Jim, no, you're just like all the rest. In this instant, Jimmy James grows his rap-lit poetry style in motion, game from little ant mounds to leaps and bounds, as even he starts to astound those recognizable people. Famous he can't say, but definitely in the game. Well, we're getting deep into the weeds. Before what it's worth, I'm sprouting a new breed of disevolution of rap to the lit, to the style of genuinely malfunctioning. Relax, I'll explain in detail where I'm going with this. You just have to wait until I hit my next mushroom cloud. Okay, so that didn't come out so good. Let me try to relate on a remix to Terminated the old me. Da 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 dun dun. Bum chicka bum. Here I go, about to grow. I'm about to lay down this reality rap lit sick track. So sit, wait, well, you should know you can see the full evolution of my creativity. Regardless of what you think of me, hit or miss, I will still swing for the fucking fences. So this is it, the sum of all of my works under music roof. One take, the bells in hell have rung. Neither I need to be led down this path of shame, or what I'd be constantly reframing to claim. So like ACDC, these are my ABCs mixed in with ADHD. Well, for what it's worth, I'm trying and I'm not relying on anybody's help. I've been doing this all by myself. I was gonna put a couple metaphors on this last verse, but nah, not today. I decided I would let the music and rhythm do the expressions. If I had to define my style in a different way, I would distinctively say a mix of doo-wop with a touch of new ones, to a beach ball of old school classicals with little dashes and splashes of nuance, and a touch of my love from ghost tracks, rotated movies from way back, like oh, that righteous brother who stole the show. I don't know where to go from here, but I'm looking towards the universe and beyond. Before now I'm done, no puns, no disrespect. I'm just a human like you, evolving slowly but still on the upscale of rap lit poetry in motion. What is calm? What is sanity? What is eternity? What is the most you will find of uncertainty, or to be certain? I've been sitting here thinking, wishing and wanting for someone that I can turn the corner quickly with thoughts and patterns that elude me in my thinking. But I sit here and ask you, what am I forsaken? Is it a future, something of the unknown? Or is it something maybe written in stone? Maybe it is just fate, speaking slowly. And with all honesty, this is my weight to bear. But I would bet that even you go through these thoughts in the process of what could be done if it was so easy to accomplish. So stick with me as I rewrite this infinite thought process in part 2 of these malicious undertones that I honestly don't even know how I'm going to fully explain to its entirety, to its fullness. My guy said in the first part, we are all victims of this mind game. So sit there and take this with no shame, and I will serve it up, no blame. Then we can divide and conquer this thought pattern right of thoughtless suicide.
as I take two. I'm sitting here thinking, why do I write this down, put this out, who am I reaching, what am I teaching? I feel like I'm on a merry-go-round with myself and it is not coming to a halt. I do this on the daily and I have nothing to dig with, just deep into my bag of nonsense with depression and insanity. Why do I strive to make this poetry so intact? For what and whose well-being intact? For you and your love and care, what is the point? I have never gotten back any kind of sympathy, not that I'm looking, but it would be nice to see somebody hitting the keys, typing in something nice to say something I may need, maybe to keep me going, maybe to get me better, shit possibly, maybe probably never even sway me, get better at this rap lit poetry game that I proudly claim for myself. This is me building in 10 cities, regardless if I sing just for that moment. I'm only in this one moment in time, regardless of how short, but not to draw you listeners into this craziness nor a negative light, a negative way. Maybe someday I'll get my love, but not today. Hey, that was good, keep it up, liking what you're putting down. Nah, that's not in my deck and what I was dealt. I guess it's forever going to be felt, even though I know I'm not a Bach, Beethoven, or a Bach, but shit, you best believe I'll still scratch that same itch that they had. So here as I strip myself back and go farther away into my mental state of awareness, or possibly unaware of any one sort of thing, I will still write this because it's mentally for my well-being. And if it helps a soul out there bring forth their creativity, go ahead and set a new standard to themselves and maybe others, then I will strip back every layer until I have nothing left to lose. If you're not understanding, I'm trying to explain. I do this to stay sane, to try and keep my head out from the rain, but that's a different sonnet, a different type of pain, hard to maintain. Well, back to this endeavor of fakeness, back to this side of greatness, a part two, getting ready for you all to see truth.
The name is Jimmy James, and I claim a therapeutic rap music on humanity with no shame. This is one take, this is my case, so fuck all these haters. If you have something to say, step up or get out of my way. Yeah.
I give my full consent to this bridge and this building intensity of what I'm about to say. I don't know what I'm going to call this, so I figure I'll call this human therapy. It's about time I dropped the rap bullet, kill it. But sadly, I was not thinking it was going to be this early. I would say I'm sorry, but it's about time I got this off my chest so I can go ahead and rumble and be the best that I can be. And fuck no, I didn't join the army. I'm a patriot thinking through. I just don't believe I'm killing myself. Prove this to any of you. That's for a whole other story. Yeah. No chains could bind us, yet we're still caught up in a paradigm shift. A poetry trap of my making. You're basically my slut mixed in from a thought process so unheard of that. This new version to a rap lit style, poetry updated in my name, Mr. Jimmy James. This paradox, we both dare to dream a wonderful and delightful escape, but the harsh reality is there's no escaping your brain, and there's no pretending of what I say is anything but life in its own place. Most in the past racing against the clock, but with the hands looking back, rhyming a new breed of seed, like a drip drop in an ocean, always forgotten and absolutely uncalculated. For this is a decimal point which is not worth the time in which your delicate mind could comprehend. As long as your soul touches this earth, I'm breaking through new ground, I'm heading up and out. So 10, 9, 8, 6, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off, Rocket Man. City is gone and I think it's going to be a long, long time. A touch of inspiration, thank you greatly, Mr. Elton John. I don't usually like dedication, but I will make mention, cause I am not changing anymore. I see things, I can feel it adapting, rapturing. I'm not saying I'm a god, but I'm fully not saying that I'm not. Yeah. So let the rest echo and rise to the occasion.
In the silence of the night and the betrayal of our sight, though my crafty lines, my poetry of righteousness, a haunting echo of our shared minds. Find it curious that you are not even on my level of thought, and that's not a diss on anyone in particular. That's just saying I give a shit, not like you shifty shits of a character. We'll call this an example. Before the kids will call this an exam full of wisdom. When you give a gift and expect you're adding to humanity with your sad emojis and upside down thumb on your social media platforms. You think you're transformed, but yet you stay the same. You're a digital whore, and it's horrifying, isn't it, when you look at me and you see I'm a digitally produced algorithm made to bring this suffering and hate to its fucking end day. Whether I make no friends, but I guess that's just it. I'm the prime radiant difference you needed and never thought of yet. So before I analyze the situation, let's just say I'll be okay between you and me, homie. Between you and me, homie, I'll take the hit. You can take the shit.
I know already did a song about paying homage, but now I'm going to say this with a little bit of a twist. And I'm gonna switch it up to break through this battlefield. This is paying homage with a splash and a dash of a rap like kill shot shit. Don't take it personally, it's just me, Jimmy, and a last name of insanity with a mixture of credit G's craziness. Now, it's time for incredible layer arrangements with a little bit of my own personal placements. On this song I would be unconventional in my containment. Where do I go from here? Well, I get a little bit more strange. As the character's progress can't be mad at me. You got to take it out on this world and its lunatic, deranged psychos who put together these realizations, AIs and other collaborations. I just like making shit come together like the Temptations. Do I she-wop? And yes, I know I said I don't like making dedication, but I like to turn those old school wheels until they come the fuck off. I like to pay homage to everybody who's came before me. So grab your nuts and cough, cause I'm about to give you a hernia with my ADHD insomnia, with a splash and a dash of insane remarks. I should go foundation you all for an insane asylum with blind guards trying to find you. For my lack of medication I'm on, but don't thank me yet, because like a dyslexia person who was asked to take a test, I would say I'm a cross between a retard and a sweatshop kid selling out his grandpa so they can go play, while you have old grandma make your soccer balls and knit you a sweater that you ordered online at Walmart ahead of for the weather. Who's the fucking crazy fucked up person here? Wait, trick question, that's me. Now go sit the fuck down. It's time for you ignorant sheepo to know who you're dealing with. I told you this would be unorthodox, insane, crazy, and a rap bullet that's going to go through you like old grandma's knitting a sweater. Oh no, he did it again and said it again. Time to try to cancel him. Fuck you and your cancel culture bullshit. I already dropped the kill shot on little Alex O'Connor and Flat Dave with so many more to come. I can't wait until I get some sleep so I can focus in on all the fucking scum. I've said it once, I said it again, I'll say it 2 more times until the end. You people make me sick. This was a twisted shot of redemption, but then I realized I made mention of the people who are fucking this world into oblivion. So I decided to step in and put this course in. So go fuck yourself, seriously. You can twist your middle finger and turn it around, then have your girlfriend come and sit down. Just a little insanity for a new sing-along. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm ending this tsunami of shit, and that's just it, isn't it? Where is the after, where did it go? I can save you some time, no need to look through your learning device, which is called your phone to your tablet or never late top. You people need to stop, raise your kids. Our planet is going to shit. Who you going to blame when you're the one looking around while you're standing in shit? I quit. About you, but I'm ending this tsunami of shit, and that's just it, isn't it? Where is the after, where did it go? I could save you some time, no need to look through your learning device, which is called your phone to your tablet or never late talk. You people need to stop, raise your kids. Our planet is going to shit. Who you going to blame when you're the one looking around while you're standing in shit? I quit.
11 o'clock on a Tuesday night, when I'm just sitting here knowing my head's not right. So I pick up my phone and hopefully when I put down this melody, I feel less and less alone. But knowing the truth of this reality and what comes for us all, eventually, will I die alone? Does this feeling dissipate? Do we even hope to imagine a world where our mental suffering just evaporates? Well, I can tell you at least one thing: close to the edge and I can't look down or back, knowing this is all happening, living in the moment, and the control switch is in my head, and there's no one left to operate my smart messaging. Living in a clear sign of the delusional artistry with the abilities of technology. You can't tell what's real, no matter how you feel. No need for drugs when you live life on the verge of giving up and hitting the fuck it button. I'm just trying to relay back to you that this rock flying around in this orbit, staying on course from a ball of fire.
I love how we can tell what others do and think,
just like devoid of our notions to make humanity better, but yet we're still polluting the oceans. Yeah, that's right, you're part of the problem, but don't worry. You go to work every day, you feed your family, you do it right. You're a believer in God, in a higher power, a higher dealer, another intoxicated, emasculated being sitting on another throne, feeling righteousness in what they take and how they make their millions. You think they care when their shit hits the ceiling?
when do we care? When do we step in?
When do we see ourselves more than just mules to peddle the powerful viewpoints and hatred for our way of thinking that this is escaping? When does it end? When are we going to stop playing pretend? Let's just end this bullshit business of hatred. This was supposed to be another raplet about emotions and love and how to deal with it mentally, but I can stop sitting here thinking and wondering why I got this itch I just can't reach. Is it in my head or is it in who we are as a fucking species? That's just it, I don't know anymore. I don't know how to ask for help, I don't know how to be a pal, I don't know how to grow, I don't know how to show up, but I do know how to let go and move on until the next sunrise to sunset. I'm tremendously, heavily, emotionally invested in this planet that seems to always be forgotten by the ones with all the motivation. And I say that shit with quotations, with all the power and all the world's proximity to build, to do what they wish, and that's all I'm going to say about that. When do we care? When do we step in? When do we see ourselves more than just mules to peddle the powerful viewpoints and hatred for our way of thinking that this is escaping? When does it end? When are we going to stop playing pretend? Let's just end this bullshit business of hatred. Well, that's all I got. I may have unequivocally be undeniably, strongly emotional for these viewpoints of that way of thinking about how these fucking cowards from dirt towers sit back and devour our livelihoods, when you've forgotten just what it's like to go through something utterly and totally fucking horribly straight rotten, passing this up like Stockton. Maybe you lost a loved one along the way. Maybe your friends and family tell you it all will be okay, but at the end of your days, well, I'm hopeful I'm wrong about this particular raplet song.
The name is Jimmy James, and I claim with every repeat, rap music on humanity with no shame. This is one take, this is my case. So fuck all these haters. If you have something to say, step up or get out of my way.
I give my full consent to this bridge and this building intensity of what I'm about to say. I don't know what I'm going to call this, so I figure I'll call this human therapy. It's about time I dropped a rap bullet, kill it, but sadly I was not thinking it was going to be this early. I would say I'm sorry, but it's about time I got this off my chest, so I can go ahead and rubble and be the best that I can be. And fuck no, I didn't join the army. I'm a patriot thinking through, I just don't believe I'm killing myself. Prove this to any of you, that's for a whole other story. No chains could bind us, yet we're still caught up in a paradigm shift, a poetry trap of my making. You're basically my slut mixed in from a thought process so unheard of that this new version 2 of rap lit style poetry updated in my name, Mr. Jimmy James. this paradox. We both dare to dream a wonderful and delightful escape, but the harsh reality is there's no escaping your brain, and there's no pretending of what I say is anything but life in its own place. Most in the past racing against the clock, but with the hands looking back, rhyming a new breed of seed like a drip drop in an ocean. Always forgotten and absolutely uncalculated for. This is a decimal point which is not worth the time in which your delicate mind could comprehend. As long as your soul touches this earth, I'm breaking through new ground. I'm heading up and out. So 10, 9, 8, 6, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. Rocket Man. Shit is gone and I think it's going to be a long, long time. A touch of inspiration. Thank you greatly, Mr. Elton John. I don't usually like dedication, but I will make mention because I am not changing anymore. I see things, I can feel it adapting, rapturing. I'm not saying I'm a god, but I'm fully not saying that I'm not. So let the rest echo in and rise to the occasion in the silence of the night and the betrayal of our sight. Though my crafty lines, my poetry of righteousness, a haunting echo of our shared minds. Find it curious that you are not even on my level of thought, and that's not a diss on anyone in particular, that's just saying I give a shit, not like you shifty shits of a character. We'll call this an example. But for the kids, we'll call this an exam full of wisdom. When you give a gift and expect you're adding to humanity with your sad emojis and upside down thumb on your social media platforms. You think you're transformed, but yet you stayed the same. You're a digital whore, and it's horrifying, isn't it, when you look at me and you see I'm a digitally produced algorithm made to bring this suffering and hate to its fucking end date. Whether I make no friends, but I guess that's just it. I'm the prime radiant difference you needed and never thought of yet. So before I analyze this situation, let's just say I'll be okay. Between you and me, homie, I'll take the hit. You could take the shade.
The gods have spoken and I have awoken. It is now time to assemble this wormhole that's absolutely wait, okay, ready for this? Absolutely mesmerizing, abstraction zoned intentionally, never mind guesstimating, amazing in some situations that we find ourselves on a daily basis. It's safe, kids, just for us. Justice, me plucking out a few words to put them in order to start this weekly weak disorder. Unapologetic to apologetically apologizing to all the people who in the back of their minds are probably despising to even talk about or represent in any order of the magnitude that I am listing off in this hellish shootout of the uninterested, unordinary to the commonly known individuals that lack any presence of awareness or art form in their hate for real entertainment. But that's just me, that's just my statement, that's just me trying to relate back at what, that's just me unequivocally deciding early of who I am and who I might not want to be. But let's face it, this world is fucked up so past its prime. Maybe it's about time somebody starts speaking the fucking truth and stop all the bullshit from tipping over, cause we're at a turning point and you can only fit so many lies in these so-called fucking fake politician people, machines that run these states. I don't know about you, but I'm just over with the whole fuck of it all. Time to move on before it's too late and we're just another species on the close to fucking extinguished list. Mark the date. When does it end? When do we begin again? When does it start? When do we believe again? Let's get to the end. Next bit is a solo mix for your solar plex. I'm just so complex. Alright, let's see what's next. What do we gain from flying? What do we gain from trying? With the game from defiance? Ooh. What do we feel for someone whose soul might be lost because they made a wrong turn? When does your rights become wrong? Are we not to be trusted? Shit, I started this thinking I had something I put together with a nice little twist. But I guess the joke's on me because I have nothing in the chamber except regret, despair, depression, a little bit of let's not forget to mention, and so on as the clock ticks forward. I'd love once, I love twice. If I love 3 times, I may have forsaken my soul for life. But that's just said, what do I know? I'm just a lonely poet who likes to put down his emotions and show it to the whole world, regardless if it heals me internally. Hopefully, maybe if I can help just one person out there, regardless of what I'm trying to say or adopt in these unorthodox, plucked from the top of my misfortunes, laid down to put out for the world to hear. If I can get one soul to feel better for a 3 to 4 minute song I drop, then to me it's just absolutely worth it. When does it end? When do we begin again? When does it start? When do we believe again? Let's get to the end. Next bit is a solo mix for your solar plex. I'm just so complex. Alright, let's see what's next. So I'm out, this is it, this is truly not what I meant to do for a song. But honestly, I've been in a hazy mental mess, and I'm just helping with this stress. There will come some happiness. Until next time!
So let me sit you way back comfortably, and we'll have a little sing along with this dope beat. I made for you to snap your twigs while I get to digging on crazy parts of me. It was back in the day where I felt some sort of way. It was different, I can definitely tell you this with 100% certainty. Clarity mentally lasts, that's for sure. I needed to always get feedback even when I was not included in the shit talking. So let me double back to my youth and say I was mentally led astray, but not by society, mostly by my ignorance and what was buried deep inside of me. Yup, I was young and stupid, I didn't know how to build upon a real functioning relationship that won nobody because I was put behind a prison of sorts. You can call it juvenile detention. Remember those days when kids had to pay for the misdeeds? Okay, way before I was even able to spit at you, I was a rambunctious, wanna do everything, know it all type of kid. But shit, now that I'm all grown up, without any help from my parents who were to lean back on that needle track, and if not the track of death, it was the pill of what's next. Oh, let me see, can I try it? I'm sure why not? Well, does it make you feel like shit? This went on day and fucking night, but in my head I was battling demons that weren't agreeing on how they were going to start their assault by dismantling my chemical imbalance. But for the meantime, I knew something was afoot. I didn't believe in no devil, no God, not that I have a problem on which you hold tight to your beliefs, but certainly there must be more than life than this bullshit from over 3,000 different priests to politicians, basically wannabes, getting ready for warfare by mentally intriguing me with deceiving thoughts, emotions, caught some sort of process. I was able to access and extinguish the truth between the lies and false narratives, but this is just me speaking mentally from a kid's perspective. This was my unhinged caliber of thoughts and a weird and an unheard type of notions that I have not been taught nor told. But it's okay, I went to a doctor and he fed me some pills and told me I'll be good as long as I don't be myself to a certain degree. And shit, you know how I'm going to feel about that bullshit, no matter what age I be. So let me start out by ending this whole mess of a rap lip by telling you I apologize, but I'm not apologetic about anything from the past. I'm just trying to live up to the best that I can be in the now and here.
Yeah. This is really mellow, dramatic with dramatically intentions, and I am full of semantics. You can always count on me to be
mathematically included on every bold move I do. I'm going to break the mold with my so-called MO rap lit static. But before I do that, I think I'm going to switch it up and go back to dynamical times. Because let's face it, I'm a paranoid schizophrenic.
I know the core group who's listening to my horror soup might even say that this dude Jimmy James didn't rhyme a thing in his last so-called rap poetry game. And that's a shame, because it's not all about putting bars down and dropping them in a specific order. I like chaos with hints of mayhem in the newly self-defined light lit nately portrayed engine fine. Just something only a true schizophrenic maniac would find. But all joking aside, I'm just hiding my true face through this mask. Let me take it off and get to the build up. I promise you I'm going faster than a locomotive, and I'm about to move this beast of a train to the new destination. Not even the Discovery Channel couldn't locate. Wait, I kinda just made that joke in the same statement. Okay, haha. So if you're down to give me the rest of this beat for you, make like a tree or leave. Yeah, I was born in the 80s and watched most of my movies in the 90s. I know I can be a little bit of a critic and little bitch when it comes to certain shit, but I promise you this is melodramatic, and I'm trying to put this whole story together in a form of a new chapter. That choice on going forward, give me another minute to explain this. Don't be that cussin' who hits the skip button cause you don't think my shit's hit. I gave you enough for you not quit. How about I take this hook and turn it into a book, then come to where you live and give you a fine. How do you do, sir? I said, how about I give you a fine? How do you do, sir? Wait, what? This shit is whacked, but don't worry, I'll never be going back. I realized this when I was listening to human therapy. I realized I rhymed about a quarter to none at a time. But let's unwind and unpack and get back to this whole function of mellowness. Whole function of mellowness. Melodramatic. Dramatic coming to you instead of static, because I might be insane, but at least I have the common courtesy to lay my absurdities down for the whole world here. What the fuck have you done lately? Drinking all the YouTube slobs while you drink your Budweiser and partake in your buddy's life vicariously, living through him. Then you go ahead and give yourself a Smurf account on We Know It All tube. Give yourself the go ahead to be the big dick who thinks they're now the new face of this digital shit place. Some motivators and influencers, you think they got something to teach, but we all know you reach. This was a minor diss, friends, for all you losers who call yourselves life coach, motivators, and more speakers. Why don't you just get yourself a mic, a laptop, and call yourself a podcaster? Oh, that's right, you can't take that type of mindset. That's when people know more than your name. So cheers. So do what I do. Get out your fucking room. Ha ha.
Have spoken and I have awoken. It is now time to assemble this wormhole that is absolutely okay, ready for this?
An absolutely mesmerizing abstraction zone.
Intentionally, never mind, guesstimating,
Amazing.
in some situations that we find ourselves on a daily basis. It's safe, kids, just for us.
Justice.
Me plucking out a few words to put them in order to start this weekly week disorder. All apologetic to apologetically apologizing to all the people who in the back of their minds are probably despising to even talk about or represent in any order of the magnitude that I am listing off in this hellish shootout of the uninterested, unordinary to the commonly known individuals that lack any presence of awareness or art form in their hate for real entertainment. But that's just me. That's just my statement. That's just me trying to relay back at with. That's just me unequivocally deciding early of who I am and who I might not want to be. But let's face it, this world is fucked up, so past its prime, maybe it's about time somebody starts speaking the fucking truth and stop all the bullshit from tipping over. Cause we're at a turning point and you can only fit so many lies in these so-called fucking fake politician people, machines that run these states. I don't know about you, but I'm just over with the whole fuck of it all. Time to move on before it's too late, and we're just another species on the close to fucking extinguished list. Mark the date. When does it end? When do we begin again? When does it start? When do we believe again, again, again? Let's get to the end. Next bit is a solo mix for your solar plex. I'm just so complex. Alright, let's see what's next. What do we gain from flying? What do we gain from trying with the game from defiance? What do we feel for someone whose soul might be lost because they made a wrong turn? When does your rights become wrong? Are we not to be trusted? Shit, I started this thinking I had something I put together with a nice little twist. But I guess the joke's on me, because I have nothing in the chamber except regret, despair, depression, and a little bit of let's not forget to mention, and so on as the clock ticks forward. I'd love once, I love twice. If I love 3 times, I may have forsaken my soul for life. But that's just said, what do I know? I'm just a lonely poet who likes to put down his emotions and show it to the whole world, regardless if it heals me internally. Hopefully, maybe if I can help just one person out there, regardless of what I'm trying to say, or adopting these unorthodox plucked from the top of my misfortunes, laid down to put out for the world to hear. If I can get one soul to feel better for a 3 to 4 minute song I drop, then to me it's just absolutely worth it. So I'm out, this is it. This is truly not what I meant to do for a song. But honestly, I've been in a hazy mental mess, and I'm just helping with the stress. There will come some happiness until next time. So I'm sitting here just thinking about my next big track that I want to spit out on this wacky ride of an unhinged want to be comedians. It's obedience, that's just the way I like to rhyme things down, to grind things out. So as I do a full stop and come back around, I sit back and wonder, what the fuck did I really just put out? Let me sit back and think. I really need to get into the weeds of this rap with an ocean. Old school hip-hop mixed with smooth melodies of poetry style music. I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I think I wrote about everything I want to write about. Maybe a couple more rap bullets in the pot. The fuck, you should know I'm not going to stop just because my shit doesn't hit the top of the music charts. I'm half out of it, I'm half measuring it, I'm half the man I want to be. I'm halfway to joking when I write this down in the moment. Yeah. If I don't change the song 55 times and have to get the perfect rhythm and bass out before it's too late, I won't drop shit because I'm ADHD killer operating in outer space. It's a lonely place. I don't fuck around on digital places. Like, I need to be all caught up on my social media accounts, or I'm going to be so fucking frustrated. I honestly wanted to jump on this thing just to be half out of it, like I knew what I was going to be mentioning. But honestly, if you're a slave of the machine, then maybe read between the lines. I honestly didn't know what I was going to say. I got some shit down, make up things as they go, hopefully slowly tormenting my soul. Pop another at the roll and then off we go for another 6 to 8 hour rap and spell flow, which however probably if stated correctly 3-4 of you don't even know. Fuck, I don't even know anymore. But when it comes to rap bullets, well then you best I'll be collecting. I know I can get all cranky, but sometimes I can't sit back and get all relaxy. So now I write about just about everything from inner dimensions to outer space. Fuck man, I'm all over the place, taking my words so that in concrete. So I just started acting all anxious that I anxiously defeat some of my demons that live up inside me. But that's the real topic, isn't it? If I started rhyming about real shit, then this wanted to be fakeness, that I might actually see some sort of greatness. If I talk about my pain and what forsakes it, then mental health is my savior. So if you made it onto this track, down to the harmony section, and let me tell you, I didn't write you off more when I let my span of a second of memory delude you or me of the true potential I have living inside of me. Inside of all of us, that's where you have to trust your most interdimensional artistry. That's where the real freedom comes from. Don't let anybody take that from you. Back to more silliness after this outro.
truth. You only wanna hear me from my mental pain, so I will keep you at the edge of your seat. Shut up, you nutsack. My mental pain, so I will keep you at the edge of your seat. Shut up, you nutsack. Little talk living, little talk, little talk, little talk, little talk living. Yeah, what is the difference between silence and sounds? Between this world outside and the fortress of chaos we have unfortunately built up for our makings. It's a strange kind of trance that song always has you backed up. Dyslexia served up this room with no reply, just the four walls and a mirror. The questions I be thinking today. I brought my baggage heavy, yup, stacked up to this delusional mindset. Eagerly, always so fast to speak facts to the proof that the wiring ain't broken. Just high volume looking for this dial tone that never goes away. This is just the world we live in today. I was sitting back relaxing and going down a YouTube rabbit hole when I came by another poet like me. Well, we will see, but dude got a dope flow. He calls himself the real Samson, just to let you know. You can look him up, talking about that dude who just got shot up. You know, the one on the podium, that if you look up, you'll just see shit talkers trying to wax him up. But the problem is stemming from onto itself. Throughout history, it's always been clear, not hear nor mention Batman's true intention. Disagree, okay, maybe it's time we pass that on. Let this dude be in peace. Not saying I agree with dude's whole outlook on philosophy. He didn't deserve it nor do most of you. But I hear people mumbling in the background about his wife and how she should sound. It's laughable, the situation of shit. And what the fuck do you know about losing a husband, a loved one, a son? Maybe some of you do, but how many do you do in that particular way? That's a question, because I'm assuming there's no 101 on grieving that way. Pretty much I'm saying leave the fam alone. Dude is gone to let dude stay in your memories and stop popping up new bullshit just to feed your Alex O'Connor algorithm. And I ain't putting any heat towards one in particular person. I'm just trying to say dude was a beast, apparently, because he was on so many platforms before now. Getting more hits than what you usually dish out on your want to be YouTube influencer channels. Fucking please, get a new hobby, better yet start a rally. See who could beat a bigger dick on a major media outlet, fake news stream, or whatever you're trying to achieve. Bullshit. Just to let you know before we get back to this trip way back, I didn't come on here to drop rap bombs about anyone, nor is it a healthy way of thinking. He was a grown man and he did that standing straight to your face. Unlike some of you fucking puppets on a string who needs daddy's permission before you can even lift pick of a script. Want to ask for your subscribers and your fans, and let's not forget the entirety of your social media followers. And you put out all your votes and assortment of bullshit just to see if this would be something interesting for your feed or want to be selves. Well, let me tell you, buddy, I didn't know this man before he got. No, I know way too much of this poor soul who is not here to defend his case. No more. So like most of you should have done is now, well, fuck, you should have pleaded this stupid out of your brain and just let people rest. Now I know way too much of this poor soul who is not here to defend his case. No more. So like most of you should have done this now. Well, fuck, you should have pleaded this stupid out of your brain and just let people rest.